Hey everyone, my name is Justin Cotton, and today I'm going to be discussing the common practice of saying GG or good game in online games and how that practice creates a more stable and cooperative environment, despite there being little to no oversight by a central governing body. So, as we know, online games are inherently anonymous, they're competitive, and they tend to have unstable environments with little to no tangible rules in place, aside from the rather vague ones set by the developers themselves. This can lead to an anarchy where players have to consistently self-regulate. Again, given that there isn't a central authority regulating uh, the players, and they have to enforce certain behavioral norms for the most part amongst themselves. So this leads to the establishment of certain social norms, and while one might expect cooperation and courtesy to be virtually non-existent in this environment, these norms do persist and they tend to thrive, actually. So, additionally, because players regularly interact with strangers, the opportunities to either violate or obey these norms are constantly presented. And really, despite all the reasons for GG and these other pleasantries to not exist, these norms are pretty nearly universal across virtually all online games, from shooters to MMOs and everything in between. Ultimately, these rules are pretty simple. So, saying GG signals respect and acceptance of the outcome, whether good or bad, and it acts as a sort of low cost, low friction proof of good intent. It reduces hostility, helps build a baseline of trust across repeated interaction with the same players, as in, a positive player is going to be more memorable than one that just doesn't speak at all. Alternatively, however, violating this norm by being rude or disrespectful, it can lead to the damage of that person's reputation. It can lead to them being socially ostracized, perhaps losing access to certain groups, and possibly even disciplinary actions from the developers. Speaking of which, as a side note, developers, in my opinion, they seem to act as this governing body in this otherwise lawless landscape, and that they're akin to a police force that only enforces very specific rules, otherwise allowing other norms to develop organically. So, how does GG survive in anarchy? Well, cooperation survives through signaling, and because saying GG is a low cost signal, the barrier to entry for people to use it is far lower, incentivizing more players to abide by the norm. In other words, it's easy to do, and the benefits far outweigh the costs. And these ritual behaviors consistently stabilize the group, and they create this amicable and agreeable environment within which different players can operate. I believe this rule can be strengthened by consistent enforcement of the norm, by socially excluding certain individuals or retaliating against them verbally, and also with community leaders modeling certain behaviors that reflect a desire to cooperate in the first place. Alternatively, the rule can be weakened by tolerating toxic behavior and rhetoric and continuing to engage with those individuals who are toxic, or even just an outright refusal to abide by the norm yourself. So, as a whole, saying GG is a small gesture, but I believe the ripple effects of that behavior are massive and they allow for stability to persist while minimizing the inherent chaos of online environments. Thank you.